What's up, fam? This is God is Laughing at Us, the podcast. I am Anthony Heath II, and let's just get right into it. So let's set the stage, right? So think about, have you ever been excited for a road trip? You got everything set up, you got everything in place. Like you can see the destination, you know the end point. You got everything loaded into your car. You got all of the snacks, you got your playlist set up, you got all the things that you need to just really get or be set up for a smooth trip. And then there's traffic. Then there's an accident. And then there's a road closure. And then you got to go the other way. And then I can keep going. So let's make this a little bit more specific. So come with me to March of 2023. So when I met my wife and we decided that we were going to get married. And it's funny because I was just having this conversation earlier to an extent. Once we knew what we were doing, once we believed that this is what God was providing for us and was going to be good and beneficial, and we just decided, okay, let's just do this. So I live in Phoenix, Arizona. We drove up to Vegas. We had everything set up, but I took a half day at work because I figured there's no way that this normally like 4 to 5 hour drive is going to take more than 4 to 5 hours. Well, I was wrong. So I'm on the highway. Like I said, like I'm on the highway. We got our music. We in the middle of like really good conversation. We got everything going, but then we stopped moving. We stopped moving. We're looking at our GPS, and a 20-minute delay becomes a 30-minute delay, becomes a 1 hour delay, becomes a 2 hour delay, becomes a 3 hour delay. And somewhere along the way, we're like, you know what? We're on the schedule. Like we're trying to get married. We have to stop at this place and this place and this place so we can get all of the paperwork that we need in it in advance of what we're doing. Because even though people can fall into whatever when they go to Vegas and get married, there's still a process. Like thank God there's a process to get married for generally speaking. So we had a process and things that we had to do, but we're so like, okay, we about to do this, we about to get into this, we about to be here, we in here, and then we're just like, oh Lord, like where does traffic come from? Like, why is it that the one time that we really have something important to do, like for the first time in my life, like I'm not going to Vegas just because I am getting resistance on this same road, the same 1 lane road that I take all the time. Ain't never been an accident. And what's going on? Why am I waiting? It's like, why is it that I know the destination? Why is it that I know that I'm going to do something that I believe that God has put his stamp on already? Why do I feel so stuck? Why do I feel so lost? Like what's going on? But then not only that, it's like why is it that I'm like, Lord, if this like Lord, you put this in front of me. So now I'm trying to take this direct path, but now I gotta turn around and I gotta go through parts unknown. Like I'm the Undertaker. Like if wrestling fans, y'all might get that hailing from parts unknown. I feel like I drove through that hood. Like I saw parts of California that I never knew existed. And just so you know, if you live in Arizona and you have to drive through California to get to Vegas, something went terribly wrong. Let's just keep it a buck. So I say that to say that it's like the prayer was answered, right? It's like a prayer has been answered. God answered the prayer saying like you on the road. Like the means and the provision for you to get to your destination has been put into place. You have everything you need to go and get to where I'm sending you, but it's not happening as smoothly, as quickly, or in the way that you desired or hoped that it would. So you're like, so thank God we got there on time, or we got there time, not according to schedule, but we got there when we needed to take care of everything that we needed to take care of so that there were no issues with our wedding. Our parents made it into town. We had we had an amazing ceremony that you wouldn't even know was in a room that's probably as big as like one of your kids' bedrooms in your house. But hey, guy came through, but it was kind of dicey for a minute. Real like we're sitting on the road. It's just like this is crazy. So it's like just so I bring this up, and one of the first things that I think about is um Peter. So after Jesus performed the miracle of feeding the 5,000, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go pray. Y'all go ahead, but I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna go to this mountain and I'm gonna go pray, but y'all go ahead. I'll catch up. And after he's done praying, Jesus was like, okay, I could walk around and go the long way, but I'm Jesus. I'm gonna just walk straight to them. So Jesus is walking on the water, preparing to catch up on, and then they look out, and look, Matthew 14:22 through 33. This is where you find this story. I want y'all to make sure that you know where the word's at. But when Jesus is walking, at first the 12 is on the boat. They freaking out. They like, is that a ghost? What's that? Who that? Uh-uh. And and then Peter, he just look out because of course Peter, yeah, somehow either was always the one that seemed to be the one to discern things the fastest, or the one to just speak up the fastest. He's like, Master, Jesus, is that you? If it's you, tell me to come. He just said, come. He ain't say nothing else. He didn't give any other details, no other direction. And he didn't say, Peter, come. So it was really an invitation for everybody else. But Peter's like, bet. And Peter's walking on the water just like Jesus. Like his faith was there, but his preparation, his desire wasn't there. So it's like he got to the middle, then he started to notice the turmoil. It's like the road trip. It's like he got to the middle, but then he hit an accident. But then it's like he's like, but could you turn it? But you can't really turn around because you walking on water. You can only walk towards the thing that's going to protect you. And it's one of the things that I remember my pastor said to me a couple months ago. Like I was leaving a job, and like going into this completely different in this completely new season of my life. Like I left a job and to prepare myself to do other things, or at least that's what I thought I was doing. And let me not get too far, but I just remember my pastor saying to me when I told him, it's like, "Oh, you in the water now." I'm like, and that really stuck. But that's what it's like when you're on the water. You can't really turn back. You can only trust and lean on God going forward. But the second you take your eyes off of Him, it is the second that you like, why don't I hear anything? Why aren't you giving me more instruction? Like you got me walking on this water, and it's like, don't take my eyes off of you doesn't feel like enough instruction. But in our minds it's not, but it's really more out of the instruction that we need. But we're like, Lord, what? I'm not even supposed to be here. So we get into this place where we're like treating our face like this Yelp review, like, "Ooh, I'm in the middle." It's like it's like I'll give this part of it 3 stars. Like, I appreciate the miracle. I just would have liked more direction, like a little bit more service. And God is like, bro, you just walked on water. And that's how you get to this place of like, where's your faith? You sunk because you had the faith to step out, but you didn't have the faith to keep going. And it's just like, where's your faith? Now, personally, every time I look at that, I just look at Peter. I'm like, I would have been hot for a hot second. Like, I just walked on water and you asking me where my faith? Meanwhile, I got 11 jokers up back there. They didn't even get on the boat. They didn't even get off the boat, you know? And you look at it and be like, where's my faith? At least I did it. But faith isn't always about starting. Faith is about the persevering. Like, go to Second Peter chapter 1. And Peter writes about, and because Peter clearly eventually learned some things. He learned his lesson along the way. But in Second Peter chapter 1, and he talks about supplementing our faith. Let me get to the right verse. Hold up. It- yeah, yeah. Thank y'all for bearing with me. But it's so starting Second Peter chapter 1, verse 5. But also for this very reason, giving all diligence, add your faith, virtue, to virtue, knowledge, to knowledge, self-control, to self-control, perseverance, to perseverance, godliness, to godliness, kindness, and to brotherly kindness, love. It's like, so in the middle of that, your faith needs perseverance. Like, you have to add perseverance. It's like your faith isn't just about how you start, but it's about how you carry through. You got to keep on. And we being real, it's like it'd be it'd be mad frustrating. It'd be really difficult. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I'm in a place in my life that, like, after having this experience of like, I stepped out, I left a job that was completely wrecking me, that was wrecking my family life, that was wrecking my ability to do the things and be effective, or as effective in the things that I felt God calling me to. That I left it and I stepped out, and in my understanding of obedience. But that's the thing, I stepped out in my understanding of obedience, and needless to say, when God started to give me vision, when He started to re-download, He was like, okay. He's like, I'm giving you these things, but you got a wife and kids, bro. You got bills. You got to do something. So as my pastor calls it, you're not going to live on Pentecostal handshakes and miracle checks in the mail. And not that I was expecting that, but it's like God just made it clear, like, go to work, and you will know when it's time to move. But I've been in a place of frustration because I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to go back. I'm like Jaden Smith and Karate Kid when he got moved to China. Like, I hate it here. Like, I gotta get up every morning and I gotta go do this job that I no longer have any passion for. I gotta find passion in it because I have to live the Colossians 3:23, like, where I do everything heartily unto the Lord. Like, I have to do this thing in excellence. I have to exude God's excellence because I cannot do things halfway. That just as I give my tithes into the storehouse, I have to offer myself a living sacrifice, even when that means doing something that I don't like. I went and applied for jobs, and I went and got the job I wanted the least. The job that, for a company that I left 10 years ago, thinking I'm never going back there. Like, there's not enough tea in China, like there's Like, like there's not enough jollof rice in Nigeria or Ghana or the whole continent of Africa. Like, I'm not doing it. And by the way, I love jollof rice. I'm not about to start an argument with who's better, but I digress. But it's just like there's not enough for me to go back here. So Lord, why are you sending me back to this place that I don't feel like I want to go? That I don't want to go. Do you care, right? But that's the thing. So let me just keep pushing it. So I want to let's talk about operating on God's timeline though, and for reasons that just are well beyond me at times. But first and set well, actually it's not beyond me. But first and second Samuel are my absolute favorite books of the Bible. Like I thoroughly enjoy just the narrative, just the ascension, the process, the everything that is happening there. Like they, not that the other books, like where especially when you go through Torah and you get through like all of the law, all of like the don't do this with that, don't mix this with that, don't like like all of those things that it's not just the narrative, but it's really just being able to see these subtle things. But one of the subtle things that I see, and and that y'all gonna hear me probably reference a lot, is King Saul. And and it's funny because this was just pointed out to me listening to Pastor Manny Arango, but he referenced how God gave Israel a king that was more or less a donkey herder because the people of Israel were acting like donkeys. So they wanted a king. So so they were acting like donkeys. So they got somebody who was an expert at donkeys. But and you look at First Samuel chapter 13 and particularly verses 8 through 14, here we have where God told Saul to go here and wait for Samuel to perform the sacrifice because obviously like there's the king, there's the priest, there and the prophet. The only people that was meant to perform sacrifices under that that law was the priest. Saul said, you know what, fam, taking too long. Almost makes me wonder how long did Saul take to actually go and do what God said in the first place? Because I feel like Samuel may have been late, and look, and this is just Holy Spirit reading between the lines, or I believe it to be. But this is I think that Samuel was late in Saul's eyes because Saul was kind of late. Like Saul waited, but in turn, Saul didn't wait for Samuel. He took matters into his own hands and he lost. And what we find ourselves in, and like what I'm experiencing right now, even personally, is that as much as you want to shortcut, like you want to just say, "Oh, I'm gonna step out into this. I'm gonna step out and do what God said," but have you created process? And that's one of the things that I have to keep looking at. That I'm like, Lord, I want to be so mad, I want to be so frustrated, but I'm just looking around. Okay, like what's my process? Like, I cannot DIY the blessing of God because I may be an image bearer of God, but DIY doesn't work, bro. Like it's not going to work if you DIY the work of God. Like we seen people try it, and we want to give Yelp reviews. Don't recommend it. If you want to treat this like a game of Monopoly, you just landed on a jail spot. Go directly to jail. Don't pass. Go. Don't collect $200. Do not try to do it yourself. And 'cause I may be a do too mucher, but when it comes to God, I know I will sit down and just to keep continue with the just another biblical example. When you get to Mark chapter 4, 35 through, and this is like starts at 30, verse 35. Jesus, again, another Jesus is on the boat with the disciples yet again. Storm is raging, everything's going crazy. Like they freaking out. They're like, does he not do he not care if we die? Like this is like we are gonna die out here. Jesus is in the cut, sleep with a leather pillow, no less. I mean, now to me, a leather pillow that doesn't sound that comfortable. Like if I had to lay on something, I'm not. I don't think leather would be my first choice. However, if I'm laying on a boat, I guess we will work with that. But just being able to connect that, being able to just kind of work with that, like Jesus is in the back, laying down on on a leather pillow, and everybody around him is freaking out. Everybody around him is losing their mind. And they're like, Master, Master. Jesus just look up like, peace be still. Yeah, man, what manner of man is this? What kind of man is this? Who is this? Like even the wind and the waves obey. Like what just happened here? And they go from freaking out and look just like, do you even care that we're about to die? And sometimes it's like that's how it feels. It's like I'm like I have moments where I look up, I'm like, Lord, do you even care what I want? I'll be real. I've had a little stretch that I was big mad. And not even that long ago. I mean, there's times that I'm still like, Lord, what's up? Why am I still waiting? Like Lord, what? I applied for this job. I'm waiting for this interview. I'm waiting for to really for permission to walk in purpose. And I'm like, and it's just like, Lord, what's the hold up? Why am I waiting? What's up with this process? But it's like you have to let patience have its perfect work, and letting patience have its perfect work. I'm like, Lord, I don't want like the Holy Spirit say that to me. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to hear that. It's like you want to know what the perfect like in my mind the perfect work is going to do the work or the type of work that I feel like you called me to. Not the type of work that I feel like I have to settle for. Because, because I know your provision is all through this. I know this is how you're providing for my family right now, but this ain't how I want to do it. I don't want to do it this way. It's like I gotta go deal with these storms every day. I gotta figure out how to manage my time a brand new way. I gotta learn how to also be present for my family while doing my growing ministry things, while fitting recording a podcast into my life, while fitting all these things into my life, while learning to say no. I'm like, Lord, why do you have me doing all these things while I'm waiting? Like, why am I waiting for this? But then that's when you hear it. You hear like, Lord, like the wait is because of the things that needs to be worked out. Like God is working things out. It doesn't make it like now. I'll be real. The flesh part of me, the human part of me, isn't any less frustrated. But I can't stop trusting God. I will not let my feelings lead me away from the truth of God. Period. And then, and even in that, it's like you have Saul who has that experiences the temptation to just skip steps or do it himself. You have like the people that look around and they fail to understand like that God even cares. Like, why am I still waiting? But then you have Jesus that sees temptation. Like after Jesus was baptized, he went into the wilderness and Satan tempted him. And the temptation was really specific. It's like Satan was basically was looking to tip Jesus into taking the easy way, to taking and skipping steps. Satan was looking to give Jesus everything that he would think he would want, and while avoiding the work that he needed to do, while not training up and teaching the people that he was leaving his ministry on earth in the hands of, the people that would train others in the gifts of the Holy Spirit, the people that would record his life, but also write additional letters. That there's things that he was trying to get Jesus to skip ahead of, and I'm like, and this is like fresh because my pastor. I love my Pastor Moore at FCC. I love the passion that he brings into the word because he just talked about like Satan was trying to get Jesus to step into nothing. And it's like, thou shalt not tempt the Lord our God. So for one, it's like you're in the middle of something, like you are strongly headed toward the finish line. Like you want to, and it's like, and even though you got to like detour, you got to reroute, you got to go all these different directions, and you're like frustrated because going back to just even when I was driving from Phoenix to Las Vegas with my wife, I could have chosen to be frustrated. I could have chosen to say, you know what, this ain't happening. This ain't it. We just gonna stay home and we go do this another time. But I did not let. But if you look at it and you don't let that deter you, and you look at that God gave us additional time to talk, to connect, to just be able to enjoy one another's presence as we are making our way. Just all of these things that it's like you don't always get express shipping, that we live in this Amazon Prime lifestyle that it's like if we got to pay for shipping or we got to wait 5 to 7 business days, we don't want it. Like there's so many of us that we get so caught up in this Amazon Prime lifestyle that it's just like and I know I'm guilty of that. I'll sit down, I'll just be looking at, I'm like, what do you mean 5 to 7 days? Or what you mean they shipping that from there? Like, I'm just not gonna order it. Like, and it's just hilarious because we want this express shipping, but not only do we want express shipping, there's times that we might even be willing to accept a reasonable facsimile of it. Like we might accept the bootleg if that means we can get it faster. Like instead of waiting for the movie that we really enjoyed to come out where we can purchase it or for it to show up on like whatever streaming platform it's going to, we just hit up I'm gonna age myself, but we just talked to the DVD man at the gas station that that they got or the barber shop that got the bootlegs. We just hit him up and like, yo, like, and sometimes, so we find ourselves willing to watch a poor audio quality version of the movie just so we can get what we think we want. It's like we're really just in these places where like we are straight up on the water. The water's holding us, but we're starting to take our eyes off Jesus because we want something fast and easy. And just think about boats. Just think about just being in these patterns. Just think about all of these different things that we experience, all of these different things that we see. Just that just being able to have the wisdom and the understanding that it's like that there's times in life that we just have to just follow this very simple thing. And Psalms 46:10, be still and know that I am God. Like sometimes that's all we have to do. And being still doesn't mean doing nothing. It's like being still is like being a boat anchored. Like the boat is not moving, but the boat is holding the float. It's in position. That being still and knowing that I'm God, being still and knowing that He is God is just like being able to stay still, just to really keep doing what you've been doing. That being able to approach what you've been doing with excellence, with grace. Continue to trust that God's provision is going to make itself available to you through whatever you're doing. So when it's time to go to the next spot, when it's time to do the next thing, it will be there and it will be so available to you. So just trust it, trust the process. And if y'all don't, like, I'm talking to myself today. I'm gonna keep it real. That I'm really talking to myself. Like I pray y'all getting something out of this, but I'm really talking to myself right now. Like being still, knowing that He is God. Like waiting on the Lord, and now I'm just in this place that scripture just pops up and I there's things, the long passages, that it's not that I don't want to bog y'all down with the long passages, because I want to encourage y'all to read it, to get into it. That's why I include, or that's why I state what it is. So when I tell you the thing in Matthew, go get it. When I tell you the thing, if I say something in First Samuel, go get it. Like, go get it. Don't just take Anthony's words for it. Because if you get nothing else from this podcast, just get the understanding that it's the word is available to all of us, and all of us need to get into the word. Get into the word until it gets into you. Amen. So Isaiah 40:31 says, "Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." That's what being still is. It's like waiting on the Lord. It's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge Him in all your ways. And I love like just the juxtaposition of waiting on the Lord and leaning on the Lord. So it's like the WAIT on the Lord, and putting your WEIGHT on the Lord. Like you have to waiting on the Lord requires you to put your weight on the Lord. Like you don't wait according to your understanding, because you ain't gonna look. Because every time I try to understand it, every time I try to make it make sense, it don't. There's things in my life that just haven't made sense. There's things that have not functioned according to my own understanding. There's things that when it does make sense, I have to ask myself, does it make sense according to my version of understanding, or does it make sense in a way that I can take it back to the word and it lines up? And that's been the thing for me, just like really increasing how I approach the word, how I read the word, how I hear the word. Pretty much that I have to be able to process what's in the middle. And if y'all can hear my heart, if y'all can hear my voice, that like there's times I'm like, Lord, if you hear me, blink twice. Lord, if you still see me, blink twice. Lord, if you still hear, blink twice. You're like, Lord, give me a sign. Lord, if I don't need a burning bush, but let me have a burning blade of grass, or or let my popcorn kernel burn, and not all of them, but just let me like eat a bag of eat some popcorn. Just let me have that one burnt kernel, so I know it's you. Like, give me a sign, Lord, give me a sign. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry that was completely unnecessary. But uh, I'm just like in the middle. It's like you have to realize that in the middle, you are oftentimes in the middle, meaning that you are walking in an answered prayer. Like you are walking in your mama's answer prayer, you are walking in your grandmama's answer prayer, you are walking in a couple of your own answer prayers. Like you may not be on the other side of it, but you're still there. It's like being able to just understand that it's like God is still working, but then it's like you have to be able to fight the urge to rush ahead, to skip steps, or take shortcuts, or just do something completely out of the will of God, but still being able to be honest. Like if you frustrated, talk to God. Like go read some of these songs. Like go read some of the stuff that David was talking about. Like go read like Lord, how would they increase that trouble me? Like Lord, I just wish that you know that you, like pretty much in not so many words. David was like, Lord, you see my enemies, bust them in their mouth, cut off their bloodline, get them out of here. Like Lord, I'm done with this. I'm done with them. And it's like you gotta be that open and honest about it. Like I have to remind myself to be that open and honest about it because it's like I know I can't hide from him. I can't be dishonest. I can't be misleading. I gotta be real. I gotta keep it real. You know, like keep it because you know you can't avoid keeping it real with God and think that He's gonna bless you being fake or being disingenuous. So be real. Keep it real. Keep it a buck. Keep it 100. I mean, to keep it 100. I don't know if there's any newer phrases that's out here. So, but yeah, but so yeah, but just be honest. Just be real. Be true. Be true to you, and just knowing that at the end of this, this is one thing that I know true. So I'm gonna just wrap it up here. In my experience, right, God answers three ways. God has always answered me three ways: yes, no, or wait. So God has either given me a green light, a yellow light, or God has set me up at a train track with one of those slow moving trains that pass, then go backwards, then go forward again, then go backwards, and you just sitting there like, why won't this train just move so I can keep on my path? And between the yes, no, and wait, that wait is the hardest. Because yes means okay, I get to like we in agreement. I'm like I'm ready to do whatever you said I'm gonna do. No, it's like okay, as I've matured and as I continue to mature, like the no ain't always enjoyable, but at least no is definitive. But that wait is like, so you saying I can have it, but I can't have it yet, and it's like, and Lord, I know Romans 8:28 says all things work together for the good who though all things work together for the good of those who love Him, for those who love you, Lord. That so if it's not all good, you're not done yet. But Lord, I'm like, why I gotta wait? But the funny thing is, every time I think about the wait, I realize that I've never been disappointed by what's on the other side of wait. I've definitely been like, what is this? During. I've been like, okay, if I gotta wait, what am I waiting for? Like I've been there in the middle of it, but I've never been disappointed by what God has given on the other side of waiting. So even though at times I feel like I'm still on the water, even though I'm in the water, even though what being on the water looked like, even though I am like literally standing on a miracle, I'm standing on answered prayers. I'm standing on growth and maturity and the ability to just trust God in a brand new way. That even though God may not always blink twice the way I want him to, that God goes into like becomes a teacher during a test. That I'm not answering any questions about the material. At most, I will answer a question so you can to clarify the question being asked. But the material, like, no, I'm not giving you any insight into the material. Like, we've been through this. You've been prepared for this. But that said, it's as painful as waiting has been, as painful as waiting is, as painful and as uncomfortable as sitting in the middle. You know, like sitting in the middle isn't the most enjoyable thing, but it's there, and I trust and believe that God is making it happen. That He's going to bring some good things. That He's going to produce some good things. That you know that what and so whatever interview Like, like if you're waiting for a job interview, if you're waiting for a change, if you're waiting for something to just finalize, if you're waiting for an answer to a question, if you're waiting for anything, just know that it's worth the wait if you put your weight on God. So I just pray that as you're in the middle, as you're standing in deep waters, that you can, I just pray that you can keep your eyes on Jesus and trust that he'll bring you back to the boat and that boat will take you to shore. Trust and believe that there's a perfect work still being worked, that's still being prepared, that God is continuing to do all of the things that you need. And just know that as frustrated as you might want to be, God is still laughing. And God is still watching. His eyes are still on us. He is still seeing us. He's still feeling us. He's still preparing a blessing for us. So just trust and believe that it's there for you. So this has been another episode of God is Laughing at Us. I'm Anthony. I love y'all. Signing off. Peace.